But listen, there's been some recent Premier League managers that have been sacked so far. Russell Martin, Gary O'Neill.
Rightfully so.
Gary O'Neill, Steve Cooper was sacked earlier. I mean, the best one on this table is Ten Hag got sacked this season. Lears is like, do you know how much Lears is celebrating when Ten Hag got sacked? I guess my question.
I almost cried tears, man. Honestly.
Yeah, she did. I don't say almost. You actually did cry a little bit. There's a tear.
There was a tear.
There was a tear.
This
There
one
was a tear.
singular one.
There was a tear from me as well because we lost all our content.
There was tears for Levan as well.
Yeah, Liban actually cried.
Yeah, he actually cried. But I guess the question I want to pose for the table is: who do you guys think is the next Premier League manager to be sacked?
For me, the everyone's gonna say it should be Lopetegui, but I don't think it's gonna be him. You know.
I think West Ham are backing him right now. It's a weird one with him.
I think
Glasner's a weird one for me, but I don't think Palace will do it.
I don't think, guys. Who deserves? You know is who deserves to get sacked is one person, but I don't think he will get sacked.
Who's that name?
Ange.
Ange Postecoglou.
For me,
I think he's massively under pressure.
Yeah, I think who deserves to get sacked is Ange, but of course they're not going to sack him. I think they don't win a trophy.
Yeah.
Who's the likeliest? I think the easiest option really
Is Lopetegui.
is Julian.
You always love the first name basis.
Yeah, you don't know like that.
Though, I just think if it was going to happen, it would have happened already. And now when I look at them, they're 14th. They're actually 2 points behind Man United. Like they're actually in terms of form.
Well, howler.
In terms of form, guys, you look at their form recently.
2 points.
You know what kills me about Man United? You could be shit. Well, you could be in a gut and someone will go, they're only 4 points behind United.
This is the worst ever West Ham start. There's 2 points behind them.
3 points behind
But
Tottenham.
hold on, it's the first time in history that we go into Christmas without being in the bottom half. So we're trash too. But West Ham are unbeaten in their last 3.
Okay.
I look at their next few fixtures. There's some difficult ones in there. They got Southampton, Liverpool at home is going to be a tough one.
Man
Got
City away.
easy fixture the next week in
Was that
City.
difficult?
Fulham at home, Palace at home. That's why I say easy fix. So like, there's opportunity to pick up points. I actually think if they were going to fire him, it would have happened already.
I agree with that.
I think Ange is in massive trouble, man. Like honestly, the form, the results, the manner of their defeats as well too. And I always think that when your home crowd starts to turn on you, that's almost like the first sign that you're in trouble.
For sure.
And the way Spurs fans are leaving the ground, like they have no hope. They were booing him the other week. I think he's in massive danger, man.
Yeah, there's so many like names I'm looking at, like even in the bottom half, like I said Glasner, but I'm looking at Everton. I don't think they'll let go of Sean Dyche. I think they backed him enough. Ipswich, I think they're riding out.
McKenna will never get fired.
If they get relegated, they get relegated.
So really, truly, the only really because Southampton did it, Wolves did it, Leicester did it, and that's it. So
United as well.
So you're looking, United.
What's
Yeah,
the
well,
fuck?
like,
He's actually right.
No, you're right because I'm seeing United in there. So the only really 3 teams is West Ham, Everton, Ipswich down there. Ipswich's not going to do it. I don't think Everton's going to do it. I don't think they're sacking. So really and truly, you're only looking at West Ham. Brentford ain't.
Brentford, no way.
Thomas Frank have done a very good job. You look at Spurs. Brighton have done a good job for getting out top 10. So they're only really 2
Marcus
options.
Silva's done a good job for Fulham as well.
Spurs and West Ham.
Well, to be fair,
Are you trying to say Pep?
no, I was looking at Eddie Howe potentially. I was looking at Eddie Howe potentially, but Newcastle are such a volatile team in terms of they win one week, lose the next. I think maybe Eddie Howe, if anything happens, is probably we're looking at towards the end of the season.
I think as
Like
well,
a
you know,
summer transition.
you know me, I have the Eddie Howe hate and everything, but I feel like I definitely feel like with Eddie Howe, Newcastle are looking to have an excuse for him to go, if that makes sense. I feel like it'll be at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think if anything happens, it would be towards the end. But they've actually
Right now, I don't, like you said, Lias, I generally don't see it happening. He's not in that bad of a form where they're like, yeah, it's time to go.
one loss in 5 to be
You're
fair.
coming from
Fair
right.
play to him. And is there any like manager, like I guess, so by the end of the season they're going to be under intense scrutiny? Do you think like Arteta or something like that can fall into that category?
If Arsenal finish
I
third
think
or
If they
fourth.
finish trophy-less,
Arteta,
third or
will not
fourth.
get fired this season.
No,
It's
but
impossible.
I see we're more on a question of like,
yeah.
Then
Well,
Intense-
a question
intense
for
scrutiny.
me means that there's a possibility that he could get fired.
Yeah.
for
There's
me,
no
it's just
possibility.
Ange. Like if that's the case, Pep then, right? Pep would have scrutiny, but he's never going to get fired.
It's Ange. I think the only person which is saying top manager on ending of the season is Ange.
Can I ask one question? It was at the end of the 22-23 season, and this is when the little rivalry happened with Gary O'Neill and Iriola, when Bournemouth got rid of Gary O'Neill, and everyone looked at that sacking and they were thinking, what Gary O'Neill did really well at Bournemouth, why would you sack him? And obviously they just said, you know what, we want to take another step in another direction. We think we can go even more progressive, we can aim even higher. They got Anthony Iriola, and that was like a shock appointment. Is there any team in the league right now that you probably look at and see them letting go of their current manager because they feel like, Because one team I'm actually looking at is Fulham. Because I like Marco Silva. I think he's a very good manager, but I want to know what their ambition is as a club. Do they want to be like a top? The last season they finished 13th. Right now, what they're 10th.
They're 9th, but they're around the
they're around the 10th. So I look at that team and I'm always thinking, are they a team that they can? Are they trying to push for a European spot?
To answer your question, I think it's Newcastle.
Okay.
I think it's Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe has reached his ceiling with this Newcastle team, and I think Newcastle, the next team that I think if once the next upcoming talented young managers out there, I think they should take do what Bournemouth did. Gary knows he did what he did with you, man. He made sure you guys stayed up. Newcastle.
Can you see? As this might sound crazy because they're doing very, very well. You know how you was talking about at the end of the season and potentially changing the manager. I don't think they'll do it. So whoever's watching, I don't think they'll do it. But Forest, if they get like European spots,
impossible.
You think so?
No, bro. Forest they would have been concerned about relegation.
That's
year.
what I'm saying.
No,
but I'm talking more on the fact that you know how you said, where
I get you, but you know what? The flip side of Bournemouth
stuff.
is what Stoke did when they had Pulis and they knew who they were, and then they tried going European.
Yeah.
And West Brom, for example, Bournemouth, I think. The ownership were all on the same board, and they really made it a whole club thing that we're going to change the way Bournemouth operate. A club like Nottingham Forest, they've been really hectic in the transfer window. I think they finally got some stability with Nuno.
Facts.
I think the worst thing they could do is fire Nuno Espirito Santo and try and go again for like a bigger name and bring in all these big. I think
because realistically it reminds me of West Ham and David Moyes.
Yeah,
in terms of
I know what you mean.
European success. Got them in place, and then they said, "Yo, I'm trying to change my football."
Nuno get them to Europe. At least let him have some time to even experiment with them in a European Cup. It's too early to even.
But
talk about it.
Eddie Howe's the best shout.
Yeah, I agree.
We say so. The next manager to be sacked for you guys will be Lopetegui, but then after that probably be like an Eddie Howe.
I think
it could be Ange.
Ange, yes, Ange
Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
I think Ange. The problem with Ange as well too. Like I said, West Ham. You look at the last 3 games. They're drawing some games here and there. They're winning one. But it looks like it's getting a little better with West Ham compared to the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Spurs, the trajectory is
downwards.
And it's not even like down, like it's like a straight downwards. The rate at which they're conceding goals, the manner in their defeats.
Yeah.
I don't see where all of a sudden Spurs just turn their season around.
And even the goals they're conceding, like you said.
And you can talk about like Faisal. I think he's right when he says like their season's going to be judged off silverware, but if they're 14th place, for example, in February, are they even going to wait till the end of the season to see if they're silverware?
They should have pulled the trigger early.
They just might. Like, Ange is under massive pressure to get this shit going.
If you were to, obviously, if they were to sack Ange, for example, who would be your replacement?
I don't know, and that's why I wouldn't sack him. But he's making it very difficult.
But with Spurs, you don't know.
What direction would you want to go into now?
Yeah, but you don't know. Is it top manager? Is it a young manager?
They've done the top managers. They've done these.
They've done everything.
Yeah,
that's why I think they should keep him. And I honestly don't think there's a better manager on the market.
If there was to, in my opinion, if there was to be another manager that they will try bring in, I think it would be Constantine from former Porto manager. I feel like he's the best. He's the best
better
available.
Organized, but is he a better guy to lead the project? I'm not so sure. I mean, every game Ange is making it seem less and less likely, but I still think.
Does he look checked out himself? Do you think when you look at the touchline, they always put the camera on him. He just looks like.
I think he looks extremely frustrated and tired, but checked out. I still think he's determined. And when you make a statement like "I always win my second season," I don't care how fatigued you are. Hey, you better deliver on that. That's a big
he's in the
statement
semi-final cup. Okay, let's say this: they're still 14th in February, but they got to the Carabao Cup final. They can let him play that final.
Okay, they can't make that same mistake.
Yeah, but do they win?
Doesn't matter. They can't afford. They should never do that again.
No, 100%. I agree. But your question is, if they win. They're not sacking him. If they lose,
if they win, if they
lose the Carabao Cup and they're in like 11th, 12th,
that's what
if they win the Carabao Cup, he can finish 14th. They wouldn't care.
Of course,
I think they'll let it ride out. They'll be like, you know what, you've shown us something.
It's like Ten Hag last season.
Yeah, that's why they gave him this season. I know
the FA Cup.